Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time to continue the How to Spot a Fake Natty series. And today I'm going to cover none other than Mike Rashid, and I'm going to present compelling and irrefutable evidence that he is in fact a fake Natty. Now, a lot of you are going to state up front, Jason, he could be natural. The guy's black. He's got those BBC genetics. First of all, to make such a statement and to assume that all African Americans have superior athletic BBC genetics, that's just wrong and that's ignorant. In fact, statistically, from studies that we've done, only 3% of African Americans actually have superior athletic genetics. 3% compared to between 1 and 2% in other ethnicities. They have the highest rate, but it's not a majority. So pretty much when you figure that there's 3% have those genetics, there's about 50 black fitness dudes on YouTube, right? That means that 3% of 50 is 1.5. So basically there's one guy in YouTube fitness with those genetics and a black midget somewhere who has them. And I have already pegged Chris Jones as my boy. I've already pegged Chris Jones as having the BBC genetics on YouTube fitness. So it's pretty much settled. You can't just go tagging every black guy on here and say they've got genetics for that. It's those BBC genetics. You just can't do that. That's racist as fuck. And some of you are going to say, well, Jason, why do you have a Donald Trump shirt on right now? Well, because this shirt is America as fuck, for one. And number two, because we're talking about anti-racism. This is a man who gets accused of racism, but he has just listed Condoleezza Rice as one of his top 3 picks for vice president. Condoleezza Rice is well connected. If she becomes vice president, she is probably going to get him bumped off, and then we're going to have the first female fully black president. Think about that. And speaking of racism and BBCs, everyone seemed to got really bent out of shape. All these people who are actually saying this sort of stuff are being racist, but they're accusing me of being racist with the whole Elgin intensity thing over the joke about him having a tiny Asian dick. Well, first of all, that's just a stereotype, guys. There is always some truth to stereotypes, or they wouldn't exist, but there's obviously many exceptions to every single stereotype. That's why they're a stereotype and not a rule. And in this case, it's just his attitude and demeanor. Look at the way Elgin behaves. He's very socially awkward. He never has women around. And you compare him to someone like Mike Chain. Mike Chain doesn't seem to meet that stereotype. He's not the socially awkward, dorky, nerdy guy with no women around like Elgin is, which is the stereotypical Asian with a small dick. Mike Chain's got confidence. He speaks with authority, and he is always surrounded by bitches. Always. He's always got hot girls around. Some of them aren't hot, but a lot of them are. He is always surrounded by women. That dude is probably packing heat, even though he's Asian. So you guys need to understand the difference there. When I said that about Elgin, I'm talking about him as an individual meeting a stereotype. That's not saying every Asian dude on YouTube fitness has a tiny dick. Just like every black guy on here doesn't have those BBC genetics. Now, on to the proof with Mike Rashid. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, we're starting to run out of time. I need to go ahead and wind this video down. I might have to present the evidence for that in another part, like a part 2, but at least we covered the important stuff that the fitness community on the internet seems to care about, and that's racism and dicks.